Why, hello everyone, and welcome to the stream. This is a Taku Showboat. Today is, of course, Wednesday, July 7th, 2021. Hello, hello, hello. So, what's gone on over the past day? Well, not that much, to be completely honest with you all. I don't really have that much to say. I mean, yesterday, I get a message during the stream from my boss at University of Kansas, remote position. He is technically my supervisor for the work I do on a website, and he has his own website that I've previously done work for, and he messaged me saying, "Hey, I'm putting in a proposal to NSF, that's the National Science Foundation, and I'm putting in a section to post the work we're doing on my website, the Technology website for University of Kansas, and yeah, he wants me to do that as part of a 3-year term. It's yeah, gonna be a thing maybe if the proposal to the NSF is accepted in the end, which it may be, it may not be, but what I do know is that this would be in addition to the work I'm already doing with the current program, KIC, the Kansas Interdisciplinary Carbonates Consortium, and it would be for more hours each week and more pay, slightly more pay for the hours, and it would start with the new year essentially, but we'll see if any of that happens. He just wanted to have a chat about what would be involved with all of this, and yeah, I can do it. I'd like to do it, and I have the time to do it, so I'm at this point planning on doing it should the funding go through. That was the big thing from yesterday afternoon. The other thing was that I got my shot this last weekend, the COVID vaccine, and the place that I did it at, the local Walmart pharmacy, had trouble running my health insurance to cover the cost of the administration of the vaccine through the health insurance, because that is the first option to run it through before trying to run it through straight to the government. And yeah, there was an error on their end, so I had to call my health insurance provider yesterday. So that was lovely, just for them to say, yeah, there's no problem on our end. Yeah, we don't have any errors on our end. Yeah, like you are a member. We have your information. We have your member number matches. It's fine. You're fine. So don't know what happened there on the first vaccine day. I guess the guy typing it into the computer just did it wrong multiple times. It happens. It does happen, but yeah, at least I know that it's not a problem on the health insurance end in case anything were to happen and I need to use it, like if an emergency happens, you know, that is important to have that peace of mind that, hey, my insurance doesn't have a problem on their end. So that was yesterday. Today, let's relax with some Dyson Sphere Program. We're going to play the game now. Sounds like a great idea. A little bit of time has passed since the previous stream on Monday, and we're back home. Well, we are at home. Several techs have happened. Well, a few key techs have happened. I've done a few things that weren't here before. I have expanded out the strange matter slightly. I don't remember when I did that, but it was slightly expanded. And I set up and tapped into one rare resource that was very simple, that I said I was going to tap into at some point anyway, and that is the one that makes the graphene rolls, the carbon nanotubes, excuse me. I tapped into that one, and I am doing it, processing it somewhere in the mess of everything that is this entire planet at the moment. It is somewhere here, and I don't remember where. There was also an update to the game that happened. Let's see if this actually loads. It doesn't load up the thing. Hell, Dyson Sphere Program. News. Bigger. Dyson Sphere Program had a patch yesterday that I would like to spend a little bit talking about. So, it says there will be slight changes in the logistics logic built with Splitter, apparently. Stacking number has been adjusted in the patch of several items. They don't really list what items have had stacking numbers specifically, but yeah, things like the logistics vessels, those have changed their stack size to 50 from 10 as a pretty major example. I think there's been adjustments also to the belts and sorters. Belts are like 300. I think they were 200 before, or maybe I'm misremembering that. But yeah, somewhat larger stack sizes. So factories will restart now. Just be aware in your current factories. Apparently they added information to the fractionator, which I don't plan on using at all. They optimized splitter logic, which is great, which includes storage tanks and logistic stations. Optimized the logic on the outputs there, which is great. And the most important thing of the changes that have been made, they have fixed the behavior on splitters and logistic stations with belts. So now it will actually work properly if I send a belt from the left or the right up to the left or the right slot on the logistic station. It will bind to that left or right slot rather than trying to bind it into the middle slot. So that is, in fact, amazing. And I'm very happy about that at the moment. They also optimized performance, which is great. They increased, let's see, some materials, accessories, vessels, conveyor belts, sorters, and some production buildings. Yeah, so stack sizes increased. Graviton lenses have been buffed in the ray receivers. Rather than being 1/4 of one per minute per ray receiver, it is now 0.1. Hello, Ave. Welcome. I'm just going over yesterday's patch notes for the game. And apparently I have some very extreme allergies going on right now. My sinuses are stuffed. Fixed a bug, and fixed a bug. Good. And then a very, very, very important item that is stated right here. You won't have to restart a new game for the coming Blueprint patch. You will not have to start a new game for the Blueprint patch. So that's excellent. I am very happy. They've fixed an error that I was complaining about actually just the other day with the whole belt into logistic stations issue. So previously, if you tried to run a belt from, say, here into the logistics station, it would try to put it into the center one, even though it was like red. You couldn't do it because of the starting position not being right. Now it will properly snap to the correct closest port. So now it correctly snaps to this left side. If I go over here, it'll correctly snap to the right side. If I go here, it will correctly snap to the center. It's nice. Alright. So as I've stated, I have tapped into the spiniform crystal thingies to make the graphene rolls from whichever one had them. Over here, Tom Dubliner, I guess. Something along those lines. I now have the technology that shows me all of the information about all of the rare resources in the entire star cluster. And just having a look around, of course, the black hole and the neutron star have unipolar magnets, as expected. We knew this going in. We were anticipating this, but in particular, what I was looking for the most was what is in the O-type star that I plan on building a Dyson Sphere around. Holy God. It has crude oil, it has fire ice, kimberlite, fractal silicon, organic crystals, spiniform stalagmite crystals, sulfuric acid ocean, and an ice giant. What the hell? This is an amazing system. Like, huh? Like, what? It has graphene. It has graphene rolls. It has sulfur for plastic. It's got stuff to make the plastic here. It's got everything I could possibly desire, with very few exceptions. And so I will be moving my base there. I am migrating here. I will be migrating here, and importantly, it's right next door to the neutron star as well. That has the unipolar magnets, which I need for the Mark II smelters, the plane smelters. Well, the problem is that system is over 20 light years away from my current system, meaning that I'm probably not going to be going back and forth too much between them. I don't want to have to go back and forth a ton for the purpose of infrastructure. I don't want to have a bunch of infrastructure, right? That I want to come and get. I want to have the infrastructure delivered to me if at all possible. So, because of that, I have off-screen placed a lot of my infrastructure onto interstellar stations with warpers to ship the stuff to me that I need. So that's a thing that's going on here. The thing to keep in mind, though, is that I don't have all of the infrastructure being made on this planet. It would be nice to have all of the infrastructure being made on this planet. I do have some exceptions. Stuff that's not being made here. That will need to be made at some point. In particular, mini fusion power plants would be needed if I wanted to consume deuteron fuel rods, or make deuteron fuel rods, which I would like to actually use as my bot's fuel source to physically get to that O-type star, which is over 20 light years away from my current system. It's gonna take a few warps to get there with my bot, I think, in its current form, without having the white cube techs. All of this is to be able to get the white cubes in the first place. Of course, I need all of the other cubes too. So it's basically like we're restarting New Game Plus mode on another star where we actually plan on completing the game. Because we're going to need to make a lot of stuff over there to both make the Dyson Sphere as well as, you know, probably some of these more complex things. I don't have the mini fusion power plants, I don't have the EM rail ejectors, I don't have the vertical launch silos or the stuff to make the things to launch in the vertical launch silos. And yeah, I won't have plane smelters, that's for certain. Now those are the only like actual pieces of infrastructure that are like almost necessary. The storage Mark II I don't need per se. I don't have ray receivers being made. That's another key thing. Now of course the common predicament with all of these, the common thing with all of these is that they all need these rings, these super magnetic rings, and yeah, I don't have very much production of those right now. And in the interest of time, I think I'm just gonna go once I make some Deuteron fuel rods. The problem is the Deuteron fuel rods also need those magnetic rings, and therein lies the issue. The issue. Oh, here. This is where I did the thing. Yeah. Spiniform crystals in a chem plant makes carbon nanotubes. Just 1-to-1. Saving you graphene and titanium. Just by using this rare resource, which isn't actually all that rare. The only truly rare resource in this game is unipolar magnets. That's it. Everything else, basically infinite. To a reasonable point. Unipolar magnets, very easy to consume the entire amount in your map, in your cluster. It's too easy, in fact. I think the problem is that there's no way to generate unipolar magnets for the purpose of the plane smelter right now. The developers really need to address this issue with this new building that they added because it uses unipolar magnets. It's like, please, no, that's too rare of a resource for a building that's too ubiquitous, right? You need a lot of those buildings. Also, I have a lot of quantum chips. I have a lot of quantum chips. Huh. Interesting. Of course, limited by the graviton lenses, but that's to be expected. That's limited by the strange matter. Alright, well, making the Deuteron fuel rods be simple. I just have to place down a logistics station somewhere where I have some room to scale out the buildings. And this station is gonna provide those, but it needs these. I may as well stick that there. And it needs, what? It's alloy, titanium alloy. Where are you in this list? There you are. Game. I know that I have this stuff. There you go. You'll get the stuff. And then it needs these stupid things. Demand a small amount of them. Storage. And this is what I hate about it. Also, does anyone have warpers nearby? You do. There you go. Warpers! The alternative to the supermagnetic rings is to just make the supermagnetic rings here in an amount. But let's start with what is the rate at which we can make these fuel rods? 2 every 12. Okay. That's 1 every 6. So, and that's a lot of deuterium. If it's 2, if it's 1 every 6 seconds, then this is what, half of 1? No. If I need, yes, the math. 6 buildings at times 1 speed is 1 per second. So 3 buildings is 1/2 of 1 per second. Yay. Math. I need then 1/2 of 1 of these. 1/2 of 1. That's 1/3 of 1. 1/2 of 1. Needs 1. 1/2 of 1 needs 1 of the previous thing. AKA these. 1 of these per second is 2 buildings. Would you not tell me to hold down the mouse wheel? Now, that means I need 4 per second of the motors. 4 per second of the motors is 8 buildings. Yeah. And that will need 4 per second of gears. Fortunately, with the gears, it's easy enough. Each gear is 1 per second. So if I need 4, well, there you go. I did not align that properly on you. There you go. So that's the gears. And then you have the coils. 4 coils plus 4 coils is 8 coils. I think that's 4 buildings as well, making coils. Because that's... whoops. Because the coils is every 2 seconds. 2 every second per building. So that's 8 coils. Which is 8 magnets. 8 magnets plus another, you know, few magnets. And energetic graphite. So I would need, in here, copper, iron, and magnets, and energetic graphite. So, we're going to clear and reset you. You're going to bring in energetic graphite. You're going to bring in magnets from right over there. And this will be the thing that we do. Magnets, copper, iron, doohickeys. That'll share, yes. Huh. I have to move something. These guys. I'm gonna move them up a little bit. No. I'm moving there. That way. There you go. You also need the iron. There you go. Those are all the sorters for those. It's all those sorters. This is close enough to one. And then these will go out and around. This will be this inside belt will be the deuterium. There we go. Outputs. And graphene. Magnets. Now the magnets need to go 2 places. magnets. Copper. Nothing else uses copper, I'm pretty sure. And this needs to be the iron plate. There we go. Huh. Right. So, power? Power to the nearly everything. And that should be that. Yes? All done properly. There's the first deuteron fuel rods coming in. Excellent. So these things have an energy capacity of 600 megajoules. That is, by comparison to 54 for hydrogen fuel rods. No, I would not like to delete that. Thanks. It also has a fuel chamber generation of plus 300% versus I think it's 200%. So not only are they very much more energy dense, but they also charge your fuel chamber faster, which is why I want to use them rather than the hydrogen ones. I forget what the stack size is on these though. Greater than 16, so there's that. 9.6 gigajoules, yeah, just in those 16. That is pretty nice. These guys, gone. Don't want them. Don't need them. They are completely superfluous to me right now. Very, very, very much not necessary for stuff. So the stack size is 30, and I will have to use up the rest of this hydrogen fuel rod that's sitting in my fuel slot. The game does not have like a health meter on these fuel rods. Once it's in the thing, it's there until it's gone. It's very much like Factorio in that way, actually, with its burner buildings. Once you throw an object in, that is the item it burns. It enters the burning slot until it runs out of its health for the thing that it's burning. And it doesn't change the properties until the next item comes in. Just like that. So, now, we should be generating a little bit faster than previously. And we now have a bunch of fuel value, which is fantastic. And in just that short amount of time, we have another slot. So, ideally, I should now be able to physically get to the other planets, or to the O-type star, and it shouldn't be all that difficult for me to request stuff out there as well. Now I'm gonna look for my, what was it again? My logistic dudes here, these guys. I want these guys, and I want these guys. Yes, they stack to 50 now, which is great. I love it. And yeah, I have all of these put into an interstellar station with access to warpers, and the min vessel load is like probably even going to go as low as 1%. I just want to make sure that I have greater than 0 stuff sent to me of these building type entities and logistic type entities. It doesn't really matter that I'm gonna, like, waste a few warpers along the way for not having full loads. It'll send as full as it can until there's 0, until it meets my whatever demand I have at the destination, which ideally that demand will be temporary for the most part. Just send me what you have, etc. Alright. Let's look at our star map view, because our destination is Alberio. Now, which planet in this system, which we are going to rename for a supporter, which one do we want to build at? So we have this volcanic ash planet with the sulfuric acid ocean, 156 solar energy ratio. We have a Gobi planet with nothing of note. We have a lava planet with nothing of note. We have the ice giant and a satellite, again, with nothing of note on the barren desert satellite. And then we have this planet, which is called a Sakura Ocean. Now, it's pink because Sakura is like the cherry blossoms. So it's pink for cherry. But I'm a little hesitant because it says ocean, which leads me to believe that this planet is probably about single digits construction area. It might be completely flooded, but we shall see. I haven't seen a Sakura Ocean previously, so I guess we'll find out. Interesting that it's a 100% wind and solar energy ratio, being the furthest planet from the star. And it's not listing any rare resources, but I would imagine that it won't tell me until I get there. The only thing it tells me about is the sulfur ocean from here, and I would imagine that the barren desert satellite is the one with the oil, because it's not really going to tell me which one has the oil here either. So let's do an indicator on actually the sulfuric acid ocean, and we'll see when we get there. Now there's going to be a big gap of distance. Oh boy, alright. Oh good, that generation is pretty nice. That is a really good recovery speed. Whoa. I'm just looking at that recovery speed. Oh my. That's really nice. So yeah, if we were to fly out there like this, it would take 22 hours to get to our destination. You could do it. Not suggested, though. Now, instead, we are going to, in fact, engage warp drive. Now, our maximum warp speed is actually a little bit faster now than previously, because of tech upgrades. Now, clearly, it will take a couple, at least, warps to get to our destination, just with how quickly this bar is draining while in warp versus the ETA to our destination. But still, a quarter of a light year a second is pretty nice. And now we have to wait for our entire bar to fill back up again, just to get back to Alberio. Now, how far did we actually end up from our home planet? About just a little under 8 light years. That's good to know. Just a little under 8 light years. Meaning that even at full speed, in fact, you know what? While I'm here, I may as well take the opportunity to speed myself up because of the conservation of velocity that this game has. May as well go faster while we wait for our thing to increase again. So, how we doing on this day? Meow? Oh, perfect timing. Hello, my Dolly. Dolly's joined me. She's come to say hello as we wait for an arbitrary bar to fill up so we can continue on our warp to our destination. Hey, baby. How's my baby? Yes, that's my sweetheart. Yes, my sweet. Did you eat? Did you eat your breakfast? Did you have your breakfast? How's my girl? How's that sweetheart? Oh, she's my baby. Yes, my baby. How's my baby? She loves to play. She loves to play. Yeah, she loves to play. There's my sweet. How are those claws doing? Yes, oh, yes. How are those claws doing though? How are those claws? Do we need a trim? A little bit. Yeah, we need a little bit of a trim on one of them. On that paw. What about that paw? What about that paw, baby? Do we need any trims? Just the one. What about this one? Huh? What about this one? Do we need a trim? Yeah, one-ish. How's my girl? She wants to leave? Where's Ollie? What's Ollie doing? Watching? You know, thinking. Jeez, we're not even halfway? Alright. Well. This takes a little bit, huh? To fill up the fuel chamber. It's faster. Yes, of course, it's faster than what it was. That is a button. We are charging faster. It's just that this is such an incredible amount of energy to recover. That it's just taken forever. Now, I think at this stage of the game, the intent is that we would work towards getting into antimatter fuel rods, which antimatter fuel rods are significantly better. Significantly better. Each one is in the gigajoule range of how much energy that they have, and it has a pretty good big multiplier to fuel chamber generation. In my techs up here, I have energy circuits and the mech core upgrades. I've got one more level for an 800 kilowatt fuel power, just to help improve the rate of charge a little bit more. But after that, you need the white circuits. Ah, boy. And I'm slowly chewing through all of the techs that I can before white circuits or white cubes. Interesting, that's neat. Q and R, we can do this little dance. Alright, are we full enough? All that I know is that we're likely not going to make 12 light years in this next warp. 1.58 gigajoules. Let's engage. We'll get within a few light years and then it'll cut off again, most likely. If it's 7 and we have 12, there's not that much of a chance that we'll reach the destination in this one go. So a little bit more waiting will be required. Come on. Come on, get close. Get real close. And 3.81. 3.8. We're getting there. We're getting there. Now, I've sort of looked at all the other stuff around us. There's a lot of repetition in things. I've pinned this one, however the heck you say this, Chameleontis, because it has optical grading crystals. There's a lot. There's actually not that many optical grading crystal systems around Alberio. You have to go relatively distant to find any. I mean, there's that one. Of course, there's Nicolay out that way, which I think is the one I'm tapping into right now. Meow? Yes, Dolly? Meow? 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 You're back! Hey. Dolly. How's my baby? Yeah, how's the baby doing? It's the baby. Yes. Yeah, you wanna go? You wanna go, my baby? Wee wee. Hey. Yeah, that's a cutie. How's a cutie? That's a cute baby. Yeah. Wee wee? Wee wee wee? Yes, that's the baby. That's that pretty face. That's the pretty face of the pretty dolly. Yes, she's so pretty. How's Dolly? Dolly with her pretty green and yellow eyes. I think we have enough fuel chamber charge to finish. Hello. Welcome to the chair. Yeah, meow. Meow. Meow, meow, meow. Yeah? How's my dolly? How's my pretty dolly? Game. Game. I backed out myself. Oh god, those distances. I thought that was a factor of 10 lower. Huh. So, it's on the far side. Alright, let's go to Alberio 2 then. Because it's closer. Dolly? Dolly, what are you doing? Dolly, why are you trying to go behind my monitor? Why are you trying to go behind the monitor? Yeah, I know. You're full of troublemaking. You're a troublemaker. You're a troublemaker, sweetie. Yes. How's the baby? How's my baby? Ooh. Have some fun over there. Okay, I'm now going as fast as I can, and I will not make it for the next 3.5 minutes. Well, that's nice. I like that the things will be able to fly faster. Warp. Alright, Alberio 2. Boink. We made it. We have survived. Okay. This planet has fractal silicon. Not the greatest of things to find here. Alberio 1 does not have any rare resource. It has 50 million copper and 44 million iron, 45, and 28.7 million titanium. What about this planet? This million has 40 million silicon. Aha. Meow. Yes, my dolly, I know. You want attention, you want to play. That one has 10 million kimberlite, 70 million iron. Excuse me? Excuse me. 70 million iron. Huh. What's 0.41 times 40? 16.4? Yeah, I thought so. And then the fire ice is 33.2. That's perpetual. That lasts forever. What do we got on... Oh, of course. So the satellite itself also has fire ice, and it has 116 million stone. Huh. That is not the planet with oil. So it's the Sakura Ocean. Okay. It actually has 63.4% construction area, so this is a lot like our home world. That started at in that 60% range. It's got a lot of crude oil, a lot of organic crystals, and it has the spiniforms. Dolly. Baby. Baby, please. Don't walk on top of my monitor. My baby girl, what are you up to? What are you up to? What are you doing? It's nice that you're here, but you're a troublemaker. Also, you know, 34 million coal on this one planet. That's pretty nice. Thing is, I'm seeing titanium 0. 28 million. Okay, good. We have 40 million. Okay, we've got titanium, we've got silicon, and we've got iron, copper, etc. This particular planet we're on does not have titanium, which is odd, although it does have the fractal silicon. So what does fractal silicon give you? Bing. Yes, thank you, Dolly, for the musical interlude. The fractal silicon gives you only this crystal silicon item. It cycles faster than standard, and it is a 1-to-2 ratio for the rare resources into the crystal silicon. Now, what uses crystal silicon? Not that much, really. To be honest, I don't even really remember. What I do know, as Dolly is a troublemaker around here, is that I need to take a brief break. Now after all that effort just to get here, I'm just ending up taking a break. I need to take a break. I'll be back shortly. I'll give you audio. I'll be back soon. And I have returned. Welcome back. So, this system has how many planets? 5? 5 planets plus a gas giant for 6 entities. This star needs to be renamed to a supporter. Now, we've already had 2. This one can be Johnny Madison. Sure. That is a copper tier patron on Patreon. We still have Ice Pick, Kevin Chiosu, and Wolfie, 7009. Then we have Mark Thacker as a boastful otaku, followed by the Iron folks, the Iron and Coal and regular Erudite Otaku members of the channel to go down the list for naming as we go. Now, this particular system is so important that I would like to give individual names to each of the planets, likely for the Iron tier supporters and such, and like the lower levels. We'll keep the Copper supporters having their own star named after them, and then the other supporters can be the individual planets within the final systems that we are going to operate out of. So, just for reference, we're going to be tapping that neutron star, and we're likely going to be tapping Chameleontis out that way, Alpha Chameleontis. So those will be 2 more of the Copper Patron names, and then probably Sirma out here will be the 3rd. Now, if you would like to become a Copper Tier Patron, this is a great time, being the start of a new month. Yeah, that's that. You can get your name added to the name list for stuff that can be renamed in the games that I stream, just as a supporter in general. But of course, priority given to the higher tiers of folks. Overall, the higher tier you are, the higher the priority the name will be used. Of course. So if I were to say get another Chromium member at some point, or Chromium tiered patron at some point, well then, clearly, they're gonna have the highest of priorities for the name lists. Same with the Braggart Otakus, the highest level of membership on YouTube. That would also have a very, very high priority for using your names. That's just how that all goes. Also, unrelated to Dyson Sphere Program, I've been getting comments lately. There's someone playing Pyandon's mods who, I don't know if this is just my poor memory or if something has changed, but apparently their Pinobots use Circuit 2s. Now, I don't know what they're looking at for Pybots, but I'm pretty sure that the Sausage Pybots don't use Circuit 2s. Last I checked, the Tier 1 robots didn't need Circuit 2s. Because the point of having them unlocked at Green Science was to use them to get into Circuit 2s. But I might be just misremembering. Like, I'm pretty sure they're supposed to be Circuit 1s, not 2s. for those pie bots. The basic of basic pie bots. So, I don't know about any of that. I haven't looked at Pyrodons mods in a little while. So, there might be some issue in Pyrodons mods that's making them need something different. Anyway, Dyson Sphere Program. We have several planets. We are going to be building our Dyson Sphere around our star. Our glorious O-type blue giant. And for this purpose, we are going to want to have a layer of maximum radius. Why? Because it affects things. Maybe not have the, that specific inclination. Just make it like that. Sure, whatever. There you go. 0 inclination, max radius shell. Because it impacts the strength of ray receivers. For whatever reason. We get a times 2.477 multiplier to all of our stuff, regardless of around what shell we're building. So we're going to start with the basic shell. We do technically have an orbit to build around. I don't foresee needing to make any other builds here. But at the start, the only thing that we can do is build a ring. Now, I've completely forgotten how to do this to maximize things, but I'm just gonna do a node on every major. Along this equatorial. Because this setup, I don't think is going to use any solar sails. It doesn't have anything to fill with solar sails. It's just, there you go. Yeah. When you're in this menu, don't let the game run. Because the star continues to rotate, and you continue to rotate around the star, and it causes problems when you're trying to design something in this shell. So that's the first thing. As part of this layer, and around this layer. Now, the solar sail orbit is here, going around this way. We could add other solar sail orbits, maybe whatever. Interesting, because that tells me that there's a planet there. If I set the orbital inclination properly, so that's, I think, indicating that we only have the one planet in the way. A lot of this is just guesswork, to be honest. So, we need a planet capable of launching the stuff for the Dyson Sphere. We need a planet to build and launch the stuff for the Dyson Sphere. And then there's how much of the space of the planet do we want to devote to this? And how much power is that going to need? Now, we have a very good spot here on this particular Gobi planet with 99% construction area. That other planet, that volcanic ash planet with the sulfuric acid ocean, yeah, it's 99.1% construction area, meaning there's not much sulfuric acid ocean that's in there for sulfuric acid, but it'll be fine in the end, I'm hoping. That one has 88.4. This satellite has 100% construction area. And only really stone on that planet, so that would be a pretty good planet, actually, for stuff. But it's around a gas giant. I don't think I want to use that to launch the shenanigans. Now, is there a planet with a bunch of silicon besides this one? No. So this is really the planet that has the bulk of the silicon here. Now, we have a lot of the other resources on the other planets. We have a bunch more stone over that way. So this planet, besides the fractal silicon, which I do want to tap into, this is likely going to be the planet that I launch my stuff from. Now, of course, what I'm going to do absolutely first is get to a pole. And plop down a planetary logistics. This planetary logistics will need to remote demand warpers. There's apparently 203 on the way. So, congrats, we have warpers on the way. But what I also want is Deuteron fuel rods potentially, but it won't matter in the end. I think I want to import solar panels. Yeah, I want to import solar panels. There we go. We have 2,000 solar panels on their way. It's glorious. That is a lot of solar panels. And because this planet has a really, 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 really large construction area on it, we are in fact going to do the equatorial solar panel build. And we're actually going to do a double lane equatorial solar panel build. And we're going to offset like this. I think this works. I don't really remember about the exact spacing. We'll find out about it. I might be like one tile off, but whatever. We're going to start by circumnavigating once and then probably circumnavigate again with however many I have left. But I'm importing solar panels from my home system in order to do this pretty much on every planet I can do it on. And for that Sakura ocean, I think what I'll do there is I'll have to import / make foundation. Which, fortunately enough, I've got a ton of stone and iron with which to get foundation. We are doing okay on Foundation. Now bear in mind, we're also going to need to, on a planet, make every science, as well as process stuff. Process antimatter. So we need science plus antimatter on a planet to get into the white cubes. So while this planet will be dedicated more towards the Dyson Sphere, other planets in this system outside of the raw resources will be dedicated towards science. Now, I could have a planet dedicated towards raw resource processing as well. We have several planets here that are really good candidates for exploitation. With really high construction areas by default. So all we're going to do is have this ring, probably just this one. This makes a lot of power just with a single ring of solar panels. Now, I very specifically have this spacing here with the tiles in the middle, so that, yeah, I can have something else in there if I really wanted. Slash another line. Whoops. Go, go, go. We're almost connected up, and we'll get to see if I screwed up. We most likely screwed up. We did not screw up. Hey, hey. Success. Do you see why that's a success? It's a success because everything is next to each other except for this one freaking tile. Oh, it's so frustrating that there's literally one tile of a gap around the equator of the planet when you place down the solar panels directly adjacent to each other around the equator. There is one extra tile set up between them. Like one line, I should say, rather than tile, I should say one line of a gap. And I want to have that one line be a main meridian line, primary meridian line, or whatever, secondary. So we have a generation capacity of 94.9 megawatts, which is pretty nice. This planet has a solar energy ratio of 145, so these things are producing 45% more power than usual. And of course I need to get this power brought onwards and upwards, and to, you know, wherever I have stuff that needs power. Go. Now, each of these uses power, by the way. There we go. Now you have energy, and you're charging at 60, the default wattage, and that's great. Huzzah! We have set ourselves up here on this planet around this gigantic O-type blue giant, which is sending off this blue/ purpley haze. But you know what? From humble beginnings, we will make things happen. Make glorious things happen. Well, we need infrastructure. We need to be able to launch solar sails. Which means we need solar sails, which means we need graphene. As well as photon combiners. Now, graphene, we have fire ice. Fire ice comes with a downside, in that fire ice processing, while it gives you graphene, it also gives you hydrogen. And you have to do something with that hydrogen to maintain your graphene output. This is a delicate balance because you can burn the hydrogen for power, but you have to make sure that you demand enough power from your system to constantly use the hydrogen while also providing enough power for the machines to go at full bore, or to go at a sufficient rate. It's very complicated, to say the least. We're also going to need to have a way to get these solar sails around the star, and that means that we are going to need the EM rail ejectors. And then, to complicate things further, we're also going to need vertical launch silos. These vertical launch silos will need to launch carrier rockets. And these carrier rockets need deuteron fuel rods. In a system that does not have a source of deuterium from a gas giant. It will also need Dyson Sphere components. Yeah. Dyson Sphere components, which will need solar sails, and which will need frame materials. Frame materials. Now, this system, I think, has the spiniforms. Yes, it has the spiniforms. So, one of the planets here has the stuff for the carbon nanotubes. We also have kimberlite for diamonds. We have fractal silicon for the essentially silicon diamonds, crystals. We have organic crystals that we can mine. We have sulfuric acid. That's fine. We have a ton of crude oil. We have hydrogen access. And, you know, fire ice for graphene. What we need is a lot of power / fractionators to convert hydrogen into deuterium. Now, you may be thinking to yourself, but hey, didn't you say you didn't want to do fractionation? No, I don't want to do fractionation, but this system doesn't have an infinite supply of deuterium. I don't want to do fractionation in my home system where I need to get rid of hydrogen. And I have a gas giant giving me a rather large supply of deuterium. Now, you also may think, well, hey, wait a minute. Aren't you making fuel rods in your home system? Yes. Yes, I am. I also have deuterium in my home system. Problem is my home system is over 20 light years away. So, sure, I can demand deuterium fuel rods, But, yeah. It's a long trip. It's a long trip to get here. I want him anyway because I use it for my robot. My robo buddy. Which, speaking of which, my robo buddy could use a restock. So that's the situation we're in right now. I could import all of the raw ingredients here from my home planet if my home planet provided all the materials with warpers access. Not everything is provided with warper access. It would take an immense amount of warpers over time that I would need to make and provide. And yeah, it's just not ideal. Not ideal. I want to make as much of this stuff here as possible. So here's the thing. We've already seen all of it. We've already done all of it, with the exception of making these very specific things. We've already made steel, and gears, and processors, and supermagnetic rings. I've made photon combiners. I've made graphene. I've made frame materials. I've made quantum chips. I've made graviton lenses. I've made titanium alloy. So, we need to do that again. We're gonna do that again, and we're gonna do it at scale. The question is, how much of that do we want to do here on this specific planet, as opposed to the other planets in this system? Well, this specific planet doesn't have any titanium whatsoever, so anything involving titanium has to be done on another planet. And this planet does not have the stuff to make the graphene rolls, or carbon nanotubes, as they're called. We do need high-purity silicon. This is a place to make high-purity silicon. And we need it for the processors as well, the silicon. We can do silicon here. We also have access to iron, copper, and glass here, in the form of the stone and the copper. We don't actually have all that much iron, which is interesting. Not on this planet. So maybe the iron and the steel will be imported from another planet in the system. And I will very specifically disallow warper use for this. Yeah, in the end, I think we're gonna just import as much as possible. In reality. I need silicon. I'm gonna tap into silicon. This is a 5 million silicon vein. With a whole bunch of nodes. That will very easily give me a blue belt. Very easily get me a blue belt. Now I will also note that the total number of nodes covered per blue belt is different than previously, because we now have a mining speed 150%, which means that each vein is 45 per minute. 45 per minute. Now, 30 per second times 60 seconds per minute is 1,800 items per minute per belt at Mark III. If we divide that by the value here, tooltips, 45 per minute. We need 40 ore veins. Yeah, 40 veins per blue belt. Gosh, my allergies are just awful today. Ah, my goodness. So 40 per blue belt. How many veins have we covered here? 6, 4, 7, 8, 7, 7. 5, 6, and 6. We have 56 veins covered. That is more than 40, which means we've got a blue belt. Now, usually here, what I'll just do is have the blue belt, do the processing from the blue belt, and that'll be that. And that's exactly what I'll do here. My gosh, there's so many silicon veins here, though. It's a good thing I'm not Nilaus, because, you know, that would require tapping into absolutely all of the ore patches in the absolute most efficient way possible, and I'm not going to do it. And I mean all of them. Tap all of them, process all of them, and have a sufficient amount of stuff being produced. But no, I don't care. There comes a point where too much is too much. Oh boy, that belt line needs to be longer. Like, I'm pretty sure when I need more silicon, I'll make more silicon. When I need more, I'll make more. I know that, realistically speaking, there is a limit to the total number of ore patches in a given seed. Unlike in Factorio. In Factorio, there's effectively infinite. Now, there is a limit. There is a limit in Factorio to how many ore patches there are, technically, on any given map. The problem is the map is the physical geographic size of the United States of America. And, good luck. So, it's effectively infinite. And I would say that in this case, in this game, it's also effectively infinite for the vast majority of ore types. With a couple of key exceptions, the main one being unipolar magnets. So, you don't need to tap all of the things all of the time, is the argument I am attempting to make. Trying to do so is supremely idiotic. If you need more stuff, make more stuff. If you don't need more stuff yet, don't make more stuff yet. It's really that simple. He says as he throws down a whole bunch of substations. Speaking of which, I would like some substations, please. Remote demand and local storage. You've got a question about space angels. Did I have a problem with the amount of mud water I can harvest from the tiny pond in the starter area? Only when playing on a map without water. So you'll need to get a mod that lets you place water anywhere, or place the seafloor pumps anywhere if you've done a map that doesn't have water outside the starter area. It's just unfortunate that that's the case. You need C4 pumps to progress with angels. So yeah, you need water access. It would have been really nice to have access to the viscous mud water anywhere, ever, anywhere ever. So some sort of a water fill mod, explosive excavation mod can get around it, but for C block I've installed a different mod, I forget the name of it off the top of my head, that lets me just place down C4 pumps anywhere rather than on water, and it just makes the stuff on demand for me. Will I need to provide this stuff interstellarly? Let's just go ahead and say sure. Just not with warpers. You are supplying high purity silicon. 15 per second. Glorious half of a belt of high purity silicon. Enjoy. Really looking forward to the plain smelters, the red smelters that are twice as fast as these. I would need half as many. Alright, how's the energy? Energy's doing really good. Even for just one equatorial line of the solar panels, that's still a lot of power to work with. Makes me happy. Okay, I still need to get access to copper, iron, steel, stone bricks, glass, etc. Magnets. And while this planet is pretty good for the copper, it's not the best for the copper. We have 3? Yeah, jam 3. Alright, let's take care of names. So I was going to tap into the neutron star, which is going to be renamed you can go ahead and be Wolfie. Chameleontis. You will be Ice Pick. And you, Sirma, you will be Kevin. You'll be Kevin. And then the individual planets in here, we're going to have... alright, one more. One more star. That's right. One more star, and that will be... Why do I have you pinned? Because optical grading crystals. Really? You're like the next closest optical grading crystal? You're an optical grading crystal. This F-type star, you'll be Mark Thacker. And then the individual planets in here will have named after next members of the channel who don't already have names given. And we will do this process through the other worlds as well as we go over and start exploiting them as well. So let's go have a look at my list. My 10 glorious members, of which one is a boastful. That's Mark. And then we have on one. Who's oldest? So we have Jason A. Now, that one is not a repeat. From oldest on Planet 2, we have J-Bot. Number 3, we have Vicky. Number 4 is the gas giant. We have Andrew. Number 5. Well, wouldn't you know it, that's Ave. And number 6, we have James Kelly. There we go. Johnny has already gotten a thing, so that'll just leave Pi, Pontus, and that's it, actually. Pi and Pontus. I'm actually just reading from the bottom up on this list, which is theoretically listed by oldest first, but reality, it's by last update, meaning that this list, as we went up, Ave has an extra month over Vicky and Andrew, but rejoined. And similarly with Pontus Smargle, rejoined, so they end up being listed like earlier, despite having longer periods of support for whatever reason. But I just need to keep in mind it's PY and Pontus that needs names, unless they just want to have their names on the old home world, on my home world out there. Then we have to think about what we want to have the other stars, planets named after as we go along. Just wanted to get that out of the way and done as I go to these other planets to try and figure out what I'm going to do where. I think I'm going to go all the way out to Vicky 83, note 5.27 AU. Out to planet Vicky. Now, let me see, what stuff would I need over there? I think I've got everything I need, actually, out in that direction. So on that planet, I'm going to be making iron, plates, copper, steel, magnets. You do not see a day 23 of C block? Well, it could just be that I either didn't rename it or I didn't put it in the playlist. C block. Day 23 was just not added to the playlist. It's there. It's there now. There you go. There you go! Mark. It's been added to the playlist, and it should be in proper order. Should. Doesn't mean it is, but it should be. Let me have a look at playlists. C block. Day 23. Yes, it's on there now. There are now 29 videos and 29 days. So there you go. Done. Good luck catching up from that point. Oh gee, how long does it take to get over to that planet when it is? Okay, that's pretty close to as far as it can be away. So it taking a minute and a half, 2 minutes to get there, that's fine. I don't care as much about how long that takes. I will care about how long it takes to get all the way out to the Sakura Ocean. Yeah. See, that's far enough away that if I need to go from, say, here to here with a logistics vessel, it's really tempting to just say, use a warper to get that far, because that's a pretty big distance. I'm fearful of the distance around the black hole when I eventually get around to exploring the black hole and the neutron star, what those distances are. Ooh. Good point. I should probably have a look at that neutron star, because it's right next to me. We'll do this step first, go over and see what this planet is like. Get down our interstellar station, some power. Oh. Whoops. I was supposed to bring solar panels with me. Oh, this looks familiar. I've got one of these on the home world. Well, nothing's really stopping me from just putting that request in again, right? For more solar panels. So, hey there. Did you, Did you bring me some of those? Yeah, just bring me a few of those. That'll be good. That'll be great. So... First things first. Oh, right, I probably want to do... Where is it? Where is it? That. Yes, because I totally put foundations on my, on the thing. I also want to, hide. And I'm gonna take a walk along this 5x5 right here. And anytime I think there might be an issue. Oh no, the color! The color! No! Why did you reset? The color might reset for each... Oh, it's probably stored on a per system basis. Huh. I mean, that would explain a lot. I'm not even walking on the equator. Why did I think I was walking along the equator when I'm totally not walking along the equator? Now I'm walking along the equator. And this is what I wanted to do. Is just clear a pathway. Oh hey, Kimberlite. I at least have diamonds. I may as well tap into the Kimberlite here. Is that the only? Oh god, there's so many. Alright, there's a few. There's at least 3 patches. Now the unfortunate part about volcanic planets, in particular, is filling in these rivers of lava uses an insane amount of soil. Just to be clear, these are very deep and they need a lot of soil. to cover. Fortunately, I have a lot of soil, so it doesn't really matter. All I need to do is fly across and make sure that we have ourselves a nice line. Then I can just use the rest of my foundation. Sure, why not? I'm importing it here. Importing it anyway. Let's go. And that's it. Alright. We're good now on all of that. This planet also has titanium, which is great. Do I need more? Hey, they increased the stack size! Alright, that's good to know. That's one of the things that they increased the stack size of in the most recent patch. Solar panels used to be stack size 20. They are now stack size 50. Yes, this is not the position. This is the position. Huzzah. The position has been assumed. Yeah, 50 from 20. These things were awful to carry around. Like, it's so much better now that they have stack size of 50. I would imagine that the wind turbines have also changed to stack size 50 from 20, which was another rather unfortunately small stack size. And I see that a lot of buildings are now 50. And we have like 30 on the oil refineries, 30 on the chem plants. Lots of adjustments were made, and unfortunately they did not, the developers did not put down a listing of all of the buildings that were changed for the updated stuffs. Oh, I don't... Okay, good, I can actually place this. Ah, but I'm probably not going to be able to... Yep. Hey. Hey, click, click, thanks, skip. All stuff, thank. There we go. Foundations. They're great. Now this planet has a 136 solar ratio. So slightly less energy per unit compared to the previous planet in the system, but still greater than 100. We are getting a bonus. Yeah, and it's like 300 on the belts too. I thought that was 200 previously. I could be misremembering though. Like, I think that the belts did increase as well as the sorters increased to 200 a stack, I think from 100. Pretty sure it was 200 for belts and 100 for sorters, but now it's 300, 200. Of course, the logistics vessels used to be stack size 20, now it's 50. So that was a pretty big change. No, it's nice. It's nice. It's nice changes. It's being made for the game constantly. And soon enough, we will have the blueprint system. I would say to expect bugs with the blueprint system when it first releases. Expect some bugs. This is early access after all. But it's going to be great to have, regardless of the state it's in. Just being able to box select and plop down stuff will be an immense game changer. Like, I don't even necessarily need blueprints, like, as stuff you put into a blueprint book like Factorio does. I just want to copy-paste, like, a section of stuff. Like, what I really am going to have the most use out of is the box select copying and pasting. The stuff that you could put into a blueprint to save, and I probably will, but within that scope, it's most of the time you're going to box select and paste down several units of a thing, right? Alright, so that's 89 generation capacity. I'm down to 23 of those. Dang. Let's not request more. Let's, yeah, sure. We'll keep that, not give it warpers. Or better yet, just not even have it. Just let it be the thing that does those two and be done with it. Okay, this planet. This planet has a rare resource in the form of kimberlite. It also has an immense amount of titanium, iron, and copper. So this planet is going to be devoted primarily to the mining and processing of these resources. To the massive mining and processing / smelting operation. This is a very weirdly shaped kimberlite. I feel like I haven't tapped all that many nodes of this, but I shall be fine. Let me do that. There we go. Substation. Because why not? Okay. Kimberlite into diamond. You there. This recipe is... Oh my goodness. Okay. Right. So, I'm gonna have 2 belts of diamonds coming out of this. Now, 15 times 1.5 is 22 and a half. So that's 15. That's 15. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3. This is going to make 2 blue belts of diamonds. Yeah, that's a lot. Come on, there you go. Come on, place those belts. Place the belt. Place it. Place it! Okay. You're gonna get an interstellar logistics station. Right there. So glad they fixed the building into the logistics stations with belt issue. But as much as I very much dislike actually physically placing all of these stupid thingies, I'm gonna do it anyway. Bah! No, it looked so nice. Really? Alright, fine. You win. I will do it that way. And we'll have a bunch. You. Diamond. Supply. Here, have thingies so you can supply the diamonds that are accruing at 60 per second. Unfortunately, these would not be gemstone grade diamonds. These would likely be industrial grade diamonds. There is a massive difference. There's a pretty big difference there. Also, diamonds, you know, aren't actually rare, as one might think, based on their price. I don't know why it's legal that they do this, but sure. Diamonds and other quote-unquote gemstones are actually very abundant and very ubiquitous, and stocks are stockpiled of these things and are arbitrarily limited to their actual supply in order to purposefully keep their prices up. Yep, it is a monopoly for very real intents and purposes. The prices are inflated by manipulation of the suppliers of the gems. Even though the gems are extremely abundant. Extremely abundant. Now, there is an argument to be made that if the market were to be flooded with these gemstones, well, that would reduce their price significantly, and that would put a whole lot of people out of the job. So the argument that is made is that it keeps people employed by keeping the price up for these things. This is the exact same argument when it comes to something else, and that something else is, in fact, crude oil. OPEC controls the rate at which oil is supplied to the rest of the world from the Middle East. And they control, effectively, they have control over the price of gasoline and other petrochemical stuff that come out of those nations that control a big chunk of the entire industry. And they can ramp up production, they can slow down production at their own whims. Now, there was a necessary pullback at the beginning of the pandemic, if you'll remember. And then now, the reason why we're now having an issue with the price going high on gasoline is that you can't restart production overnight on all of the oil products. So we knew at the start that this was going to actually happen, where there was a necessary pullback as demand tanked for oil and gasoline in particular because of the pandemic and everyone staying home. So production was brought back because the prices were going too low. Now demand is spiking, but it takes a little while for the actual supply to meet that demand again. It takes a while to get these factories operational again at the rate at which they were previously. So that's why the prices are high right now. It's not really that that anyone really wanted the prices to be high. It's just they had to cut it back to keep people employed. They had to keep the price higher during the pandemic by cutting back on supply. And now that the demand is recovering, you can't just magically bring that supply back overnight. And while, yeah, they could have seen this beforehand and made preparations for it, still, the demand is a bit higher than I'm sure anyone would have imagined, given the time frame. No one really knew exactly when the demand would return. So we're left in a situation now where all of this gasoline and oil-based products are up in price, but it's not going to last forever. Once the production comes back online, the price will go back down again to a more reasonable level. The prices for gasoline and the oil-based products are purposefully kept relatively stable over time. There will be periods of high and low and negotiations and all of that. It's just, if it's high now, it will go down. There'll be another period eventually where it'll go low, and the supply will be cut back to bring prices up again to a median level. And of course, slowly over time, with inflation, things will get more expensive. It's just this thing in particular, right now, because of this unique set of circumstances, means higher prices. And there was a period at the beginning of the pandemic where they were literally paying people to store oil on their property because the actual price per barrel was negative. There was too much for the demand, way too much, more than they could even store. So they cut back, and now it has to ramp up again now that we want it again, now that there's demand. All of this from a conversation about diamonds. because it's not a unique situation with diamonds or gemstones. It also applies to other things, including oil. Like environmentalists, they're all about, we need to stop with oil and go to renewables. But you fail to realize there is a lot of oil still left. And we are constantly developing technologies to tap into more of the oil that's there. There is enough oil to last a very, very, very long time, right? And there is industrial capacity to completely flood the market, and it's very purposefully kept the way it is, at a very set rate of production. As much as that may cause issues with the planet, there is actually already a set of controls in place to how much of it is refined in a given period of time, and how many barrels are produced. Specifically out of the Middle East. Now, US happens to also have the most oil in a single location in the entire planet of potential production, so there's that too. It's not like the US is completely clean of all the shenaniganry involving production of oil and all that. It's like we have more oil in the Middle East. So more production, more like reserves in the ground to tap into than anywhere else. But yeah, that's a thing. That's just a thing. It is big business. It is big business, and it is as long as it remains economically viable to obtain oil, it's going to be obtained. Regardless of whatever alternatives there are, or as long as there is profit in it, it's going to be a thing. There will come a point before all of the oil has been mined, at which point the economics will flip. And it will become no longer economically viable. And that is the final point in which the industry will be fully transitioned away from oil in particular to whatever else is going to, in the interim, replace it. Now, is that going to be a strict transition to pure renewable power? Probably not. Probably not. It really depends upon uptake on like natural gas, of which there's the same market industry: natural gas, coal, and oil. And really, there's likely going to be more of a transition into natural gas before we see a transition fully into renewables. And it's going to follow these same principles of controlled production, so as to not flood the market or have way too high of a price either, to not have enough to supply the market. Anyway, enough of a discussion about that. We need to continue tapping into resources. We tapped into a new resource with that kimberlite, but I need titanium, and iron, and copper, and magnets, and steel. So we've got some work ahead of us. Got a bit of work. I'm actually gonna build along this line. But essentially, the moment that renewables become more economically viable than the non-renewables, will finally be the point in which there'll be the true transition, when all the major companies will actually put all their eggs into it. But until that point, it'll be pulling teeth to make it happen. Because of course no one wants to really change what they're currently doing, right? If something works, there's no risk there. No one wants to take risks. Especially when you're legally bound to shareholders and you have this legal obligation to act in the best interest of the company and of the shareholders and not do something that you know would cause the prices to go down. You can't purposefully, legally do that. So if there is undue risk in a proposition, you can't legally take part if there is a safer alternative with less risk. That is, unless it's at the will of the shareholders. And that's the way it is in the US, actually. Let's see, titanium. All these actually need to be titanium. There we go. I'm going to need sorters soon. Power. Every other main. There we go. So this is a half of a belt of titanium. A half of a blue belt of titanium, excuse me. Titanium ingots. Go, go, go. I want to North Pole this guy, go and be like, hey, bring me some sorters, bring me some belt. Maybe this should be, no, storage. What else? Bring me my substations. As many as you got. Oh, it's not gonna... I forgot to set the thing to, send the vessels. So what I need to do is I need to power this building and give it, I would need to give it warpers. I don't have any here. Autosave, do the thing. Let me click on the dude. Fine. Give me... Do I have any of these? Yes, I do. Thanks. Bring me those. A set of those. I am running low on them. Well, that was a discussion on a random topic that came up because diamonds. Let's continue. Whoops. I actually want to tap into this one. out of you. Please, 4. 4, please, please, please. 4. There we go. That was 3. No! Alright. What do I want this iron patch to be? Good question. What does this iron patch... What does it want to be? Does it want to be plates? Or does it want to be magnets? Plates or magnets? I think the first one should be plates. So this will be plates. Excuse me. I think there might be a slight bug in the rotation. Oh well. That should be fine. Enjoy a substation. And power. You started a new Bob's Angels map? Oh boy. Why would you feel the need to start a new one? Is it because you had a map without water? And you wanted water? And you didn't feel like installing anything else to be able to build the water anywhere? Fortunately, 71 is just enough. It's 60 for this line. I didn't end up with a couple of those. You messed up the layout? Well, then why don't you just fix the layout? Why do you need to make a new map when you can just fix the layout? Go here, then up here. Oh good, there's enough room. Iron ingots, go, go, go. Why these are called ingots and not plates, I've got no idea. The picture is plates. The picture is a plate. That is not an ingot. Alright, any copper? Any copper nearby? Oh, there's copper. Hi. Why, hello, copper. How nice to see you. You are relatively small. But, well done, because, having these, like, tendrils like this can be a good thing in the grand scheme, because it means I'll be able to place a lot of mining drills down, potentially. See, now I can get that one, that's 3, I can get that one in, that's 4. And I only really need 40 for a blue belt, right? So, math, I want to just make sure. So we've got 5, 5, 3, 5, 4. Then we have 5, 7, 7, 7. Yeah, that's 48. That's plenty for the build. This is, of course, copper ingots. Get that belt in. Blue belt is the 3rd. It is the Mark III. Just like Factorio, actually. Pretty much exactly like Factorio. The top end belt is blue. Take that. Take that. And I need sorters. Take all of them, thanks. I'll take all of the belt, thanks. Yeah, conveyor Mark III is 30 per second. That's the highest you're gonna go. And that's comparing to vanilla Factorio. By the way, the vanilla Factorio is blue belt on the top tier. With Bob's mods, it goes all the way up to green. There's a purple tier and then a green tier. Get this. Okay, so I think there still needs to be a little bit more work on the auto snapping. But there you go. It's just seeing it as coming from the left, so it wants to put it on the left, on that left side. All right. So there's the copper ingots. That is a full belt of copper ingots. Just like it's a full belt of the iron ingots. As well as 2 belts of the diamond. If only diamond had much of a use. Because quite frankly, diamond is yellow cubes. It's yellow cubes, and that's about it on the diamonds. I mean, is there anything else, really? Okay. Graviton lenses. That's a good use for the diamonds. That's a rather important use for the diamonds. It's not the limiting factor on the diamonds, but that is a big thing. Now, I am going to need carbon nanotubes. I am gonna need graphene. I am gonna need steel, and I am gonna need magnets. Oh boy. So we've been going for 2.5 hours now, and as I've mentioned, a lot of this is stuff that we've seen before. Now, I need to get to the point where we can start doing stuff that's new, as in actually build the Dyson Sphere. So, I think I'm going to end here for the day and spend the rest of the time between now and the next stream working on getting all of these rare resources set up here in this system with the blue giant star, and getting all of those base materials that we've seen, for the most part, produced already, so that when we meet next time, we can start working directly on the Dyson Sphere, now that we have colonized this section, this system, all the way out here. Now, what does this entail? It means that I will need to tap into magnets, steel, stone for glass, and potentially even the stone bricks, coal for energetic carbon, oil for plastic, in particular the carbon nanotubes out of the stuff. I'll tap into the sulfuric acid. I'll be going to the Sakura planet for the organic crystals and the oil and the spiniforms. I mean, I guess that would be something that we could just do now, is see... Let's have a look at that Sakura world. Let's go to the Sakura world, and that's where we will end things off. Just having a look at this planet that we haven't seen before, this specific planet type. All the other planet types we've seen up to this point, but not this one. Let's have a look. What does Sakura Ocean look like once we're there? This will take 2 minutes. Let's have it not take 2 minutes. Bang. Okay. That is very pink and pretty. And it has like weeping willows and just like these pink willow trees and all these nice little whites and pinks and reds, a little bit of blue, the little puff flowers. And the music, too. Different music on this world. Because world type actually plays a role in what music plays. This is a very pretty world. Shame we're going to foundation it into oblivion. There's Ollie. Ollie's finally joined me, just in time, to end off the stream, because I've got work to do on stuff that we've pretty much seen before, on resource mining and processing, so that when we meet next time on Friday, ideally, I will ideally be ready to set up the Dyson Sphere and start building out the stuff to make the Dyson Sphere around the our blue giant here. So with that, folks, big stretch, yes, big stretch. With that, folks, I would like to thank you all for watching. This has been Otaku Shobot. If you've enjoyed today's stream, please be sure to do all of the social and engagement stuff below the video. Leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe if you've not yet subscribed, and hit the notification bell. Consider becoming a member of the channel by hitting the great big blue join button, as well as supporting on Patreon at patreon.com/TalkToShowboat, if you're so inclined and able. I, of course, will be back with more of the Factorio playthrough tomorrow for C block, and I will be back with more Dyson Sphere Program on Friday. I hope to see you all on the next one.